He obviously needs no introduction, but Johnny Bob, I just wanted to work these words in, so I was going to introduce you. So you come on.
Okay. Well taken.
Well taken. That's good.
When we came in the door, I thought, well, I better sit down here close tonight so you don't have that far to walk, to come up to the pulpit. And I thought, no, I think I'll stay back there to the back. And, it's good to walk the aisle and walk towards the cross. Sometimes I work over here by myself. I'm the only one here. We have a service at 2 o'clock. I'm usually here by noon. So I do spend quite a bit of time by myself. And it's a wonderful place when you're here alone. And it's quiet. And you can turn the lights on and you can contemplate about what you're going to do and what you've done and where you're headed. I suggest you try that sometime. It's well worth the effort. Being Men's Day, today I saw in the bulletin, I wasn't here this morning, but I did see who I was following, and that was Chester Dean and Randy. Tough guys to follow, very honorable men. Randy probably didn't tell you too much about some of the messes I've drug him through and some of the things that he's seen that people don't really need to see. Very, very difficult things. He probably told you about his life and where he wanted to go and what he wanted to be. Chester Dean probably didn't tell you about being a prisoner of war. He probably told you about what Christ meant to him and this kind of thing. I'm very pleased to count them as friends, very honorable men, men with dignity. As you know, some of you guys were in World War II, and I looked up in the encyclopedia today just exactly how many men and women were in World War II. And there were over 12 million men and women in 1945 that were in the armed services. Huge, huge, huge effort for the cause of freedom. And in the business that I'm in, I see many, many times a lot of veterans will pass away, and one of the things we do is we take down some of the statistical information concerning them and their life in the armed services. Some of them were short-timers. Maybe they served a year or 2 years or much longer. But they signed up, or perhaps they were drafted in for the cause. But one of the things that a honorable discharge has to say, and this is what they look like. I won't tell you who this is, but this is the way they look. This is just a copy. Many times they're brought to us tattered and torn and in all shapes because, quite frankly, they're over 50 years old, and people have kept those in safe deposit boxes or just in shoe boxes and closets. But some of the things it talks about is it gives their name and their age and where they're from or where they're started. It gives them also a date that they were inducted, somewhat like we as Christian soldiers are saved that particular date when they go into the service for the Lord. It tells about what they did in the past. This particular man here, just a day laborer. It tells some of the inoculations and things that they had to take when they went overseas. I'm sure Cap had to take some typhoid shots and things as they were heading towards Japan during his lifetime. One of the things it talks about is how they were trained in the services, whether they were a truck driver or maybe a tank driver, or this guy here was a sharpshooter. He was an infantryman, a sharpshooter. So the military did a lot of training, much like the church does training. It tells a little bit about where they went, some of the campaigns they were involved in, some of the difficult places they were in, whether they were in the Pacific or whether they were in Germany. It tells about wounds that they received. It tells about difficult times that they had while they were in the services, and we know throughout history that many of people that we know, our friends and associates, were in some very, very difficult areas. It tells about the victories that they had, much like the Christian life. It tells about different campaigns, and the campaigns in our Christian life might be having to do with parental problems or marriage problems or social problems or problems at work or things that we fought battles through. We are soldiers of a great cause, great cause. One of the things it says here too, it talks about their date that they got out of the service. We know we as Christians were in for the long duration. Occasionally, maybe a guy might have some problems, and they used a term called AWOL. They were away without leave. We've been there. We've been there physically. We've been there mentally as Christians, away without leave. There's a fella here on this side over here. I want to tell you about his particular service. He wrote a letter asking for membership in the United States Soldiers Home. 1940, he served about 3 years and got out of the Army, honorable discharge. 1940 to 1945, Infantry Division, got out of the service, honorable. 1946 and 1949, he was in the Corporal in 59th Battalion, got out of the service, honorable. 1949 to 1952, about around the time Korea was trying to happen, got out of the service as a sergeant, honorable. 1952 to 1958, got out of the service as a sergeant, honorable. I hope that we as men can, as Christians, always maintain our dignity and always be honorable men. I think that's something that sometimes we can lose if we're not careful, and I think that's something that our friends around us look at and our children look at, is how much dignity we have and how honorable we are. I want to tell you about some honorable people that affected my life. My salvation experience didn't happen when I came down here and shook J.B. Lowball's hand when I was 16, sitting right over in there where Cat and we are. It started back at Story with back in the nursery with Irene and that group of folks out there. It continued on through with who my school teachers were. It continued on through with Bible schools that I attended. It started real strong with a fellow named Buddy Stone, who was an honorable soldier, wounded time and time again by alcohol, but he witnessed to me, and I'll never forget it. Good friends, good witness, good wife, good girlfriend, all of that happened. It was great. Baptist Student Union, very influential. Gaston Avenue Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, great for us when we were down there. Home Church, First Baptist Church, Maysville, Oklahoma. Y'all have been so good to us and taking care of us, and I want to tell you that real men love the Lord.